You know that feeling when a friend asks, "Hey, I want to throw a backyard movie night, but I'm scared I'll end up with a cheap sheet that looks like a wrinkle-filled curtain?" I've been there, scrolling through endless options, trying to figure out whether I'm spending my cash on something that will actually give a decent picture or just a flimsy backdrop for the kids to climb on. Before you throw any money at a projector screen, you want to be sure it won't betray you the moment the sun dips a little or you have to move it indoors for a game night. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's talk about the Elite Screen's 103-inch portable CLR and ALR screen. At first glance it promises the kind of flexibility that makes sense for people who don't have a dedicated home theater room but still want a decent image. The biggest draw is the CLR, Ceiling Light Reject, /ALR, Ambient Light Reject, material. In practical terms, that means the screen is engineered to push ambient light away from the picture, so you get deeper blacks and more contrast even when you're not in a completely dark room. If you've tried projecting on a white wall during a twilight backyard dinner, you know the difference a proper ALR surface can make. The first thing I tested was the setup speed. The screen comes with a snap button system that clicks the frame together, and a Velcro tension strip that pulls the surface tight. In my living room, I could pop the frame out of the carry bag, attach the corners, and have a flat, taut surface in under 2 minutes. That's a big win if you're the kind of person who hates fiddly assembly instructions or who needs to set up and break down a few times a week. The height adjustable pole lets you raise the bottom edge a few inches, which is handy when you're using an ultra-short-throw projector that sits right on the desk. A few tweaks and the picture lines up perfectly without any keystone distortion. Portability is another angle where this screen tries to earn its price. The whole thing folds into a compact case that's about the size of a small duffel bag, and the frame pieces are made of lightweight aluminum. Carrying it from the garage to the patio was no sweat, and the bag even has a small pocket for the snap button and Velcro strips. If you live in a rental apartment and can't mount a permanent screen, the fact that you can pack it away after a movie night without leaving a permanent mark is a real advantage. On the flip side, the 103-inch diagonal means the unfolded frame is still fairly large, about 8 feet wide, so you'll need a decent amount of floor space to lay it out, and a couple of people to help hold it steady while you tension the fabric. Now, the real question for many buyers: does the ALR material actually hold up under everyday lighting conditions? I ran a couple of side-by-side tests with a short-throw projector, first in a dimly lit living room with a single floor lamp, then outside on a patio just after sunset with some garden lights on. In the indoor test, the picture stayed vivid, and the blacks held their depth better than a standard white screen. Outdoors, the screen managed to suppress the garden light spill enough that the image remained clear, though you could still see a faint halo where the strongest light hit directly. That's expected. No ALR screen can completely eliminate bright daylight, but it does give you a usable picture when you're not in total darkness. One practical limitation I noticed is the lack of a motorized pull-down mechanism. If you're looking for a one-click drop-the-screen experience, you'll have to do the manual lift each time. That's not a deal-breaker for most casual users, but it does add a small extra step compared to higher-end motorized models. Also, the frame is tensioned with Velcro strips rather than a rigid locking system, so over time you might need to retighten the fabric if you're moving the screen a lot. It's not a structural failure, just a reminder that the convenience comes with a bit of maintenance. Who should consider buying this screen? If you are a renter, a frequent traveler, or someone who wants a decent home theater experience without drilling holes, this portable ALR screen fits the bill. It's also a solid match for anyone with a short-throw or ultra-short-throw projector, where you need the screen to be close to the projector and still get a big image. Outdoor movie enthusiasts who set up a seasonal backyard cinema will appreciate the easy pack-up and the fact that the screen can handle a little ambient light. And if you're on a budget but still want more than a painted wall, the Elite Screen's price point sits nicely between a cheap blackout cloth and a high-end fixed frame. On the other hand, if you're building a dedicated home theater in a dark room and you want a permanent, motorized, floor-standing screen that can